Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. On behalf of entire managed services team, would like to welcome you all to this 22-day Global Human Resource Advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarterly release which Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel and I'm an operations manager here at Mastek Managed Services team. Today, I'm your host for this session, and I'm glad to introduce my colleague, Balu Landry, who's part of our vast HCM team at Mastek. Today, he'll take us through all the global human resource updates for 2020 quarter release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes, and we'll also make sure that we leave some time to answer all your questions you may have. We also have a panelist available. His name is Sridhar. He's also part of our vast HCM team. He'll be happy to answer any of the questions you may have through chat or question panel. Before we move to today's agenda, let's have a quickly look at the important disclaimer, please. Yep, sorry for the trouble. We'd like to convey our approach towards Oracle updates in a very simpler method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for the 22D updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporating new features and updates easily into your system. We will sync you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask questions through chat or question panel, and we'll answer them at the end of the session. In case if we run out of time, we'll make sure that we answer even at the later stage by contacting you. This is to give you a glimpse on how we have created the structure of this session. So first thing what you see is list of new features coming into 22D, detailing on features, so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. And next one is what are the business benefits and important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are four important components where we have done in-depth analysis of the features which we are going to present to you today. The first one is impact level analysis, which demonstrate the impact on the end user. If it's a low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. If it's a high impact, we need to opt for regression testing. And the second one, which is we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there are some which we need to opt for. And the third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configuration which may be required, and some can be some changes, and some can be used without any changes. And the last one, which is a quick win, this term we simply use to convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and efforts to make use of this feature. Before I pass it to my colleague, would like to do one very quick poll on the screen wherein would like to note down which industry does your organization belongs to. If you can please help us with this poll on your screen. Thank you. We'll be closing the poll now, and then immediately I'll be handing over to my colleague Balu. He'll be taking you through today's update. Thank you so much. Closing the poll now, and yeah, Balu, so you can begin for today's session. You can unmute yourself, and the stage is all yours.
Hello team, warm welcome to everyone to the webinar. Myself Balu, and I'll be taking you through the new features that are going to be released in the 22D upgrade. Okay. So
sorry, Balu, would you mind going a little louder so that everyone can hear you properly? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry for that. Yes, team. So as per our analysis today, there are 24 features there are 24 new features that are coming in the 22D upgrade. Among which 20 are related to the global HR and 4 are HCM common features. Okay. And as per analysis, there are 7 features, which you can see here. There are 7 features which are defaultly there, and they are quick wins. You need not do any configurations or opt-ins for that. They are by default available to you and can be utilized. Other 17, among other 17, 14 are the opt-ins wherein you need some opt-ins to be done or minor configurations that needs to be done. The other three, which fall in the rest category, there you need to do some configurations and some kind of testing so that you can utilize the feature that is being released. So moving to the session, moving to the features, the global human resource. Let us go through the category of quick and default with no configurations. Okay, so these are the features which are by defaultly available and no configurations or any efforts are not needed from your end to utilize these. So coming to the first one, this is related to the document of record. We have new improved document type description field now, wherein while creating the document type, you can uh, give a detailed description with the enhanced look and feel of the document. And even the character limit has also been increased from 250 to 4,000 characters so that you can give the proper description of the document that needs to be created. Okay, so if we can have a closer look on this in the screenshot. So this is how you can utilize in a rich text format also. And this will be when you configure it. When you configure it, this will when you uh, users will be able to when the one who creates a document of record will be able to see this description and will be able to create the document record in the manner that is described properly here. Okay. Moving to the next feature, we have an enhanced process for mass download of the document of records now. Okay, in the earlier release, we had only the progress. A user, when they submit a mass document download, you will be able to see the progress as per the last previous release. Now in this release, we have an enhanced feature on it saying you will get two output files, one with the output of your attachments, and even if it is more than 2 GB, you will have only one uh, output file for that, the consolidated file. The other file consists the log file. If there are any error files that have been there, then you will get the information of that log files. The impact level for these are low, and these are quick wins. You need not do any configurations for this. These are available by default. Moving towards the next feature, and checking the employee time cards when deleting an assignment. Uh, so when we usually delete an assignment of an employee, if there are multiple assignments and we delete an assignment of an employee, and if it happens that employee has a future dated time cards on his assignment, then system will automatically restrict the users to do so, which would help in preventing the time card for becoming often. Okay, and this impact is low, and it is also a quick win. Moving to the next slide, then coming to the journeys, we have new set of parameters supported in the journeys deep links to directly go to the specific application pages. Like these are the parameters that are now available, like tab, search stream, search term, page name, and all. And these can be utilized so that it provides an easy navigation and they were saving the time and improves the user experience. Okay, and these are defaultly available. Moving to the next slide, next feature. Now the person name format has a validation. Usually, in the earlier system, we had like we will, the users were able to create a name formats at the global level, even for a specific country or a legislation. Now, with this new feature, we will have one global name version across all the countries. And if there is a requirement of creating a different naming formats for a different country, then it should be on a local level, not on the global. And this is also by default available. Moving to the next feature, then we have an increased characters for the city or town of the address field of a person. So earlier it was only up to 30 character limit. Now it has been increased to 60 characters. And Oracle wants you to just see if it impacts you and if it impacts anywhere, either in the BIP reports or on extracts, wherever it is being utilized. Like if it happens that there is a say 30 limit, 30 character limit that is being built on an extract, and if it has to be enhanced, then it has to be taken care. Moving to the next category of the update comes as a quick win and opt-ins. And this feature is about the document of records, where archive and purge document of record feature is now available. So a document can be archived and also purged. It requires a little bit configuration there when you create a document of record. Usually what happens here is when you create a document of record, by configuring this criteria, it would be archived and purged according to the configuration that is done. We have archive criteria basis. These are the different archive criteria basis, either your creation date, from date, or date of issue, or to date, based on which you can configure. So the configuration point is this: like when creating a document of record, archive settings can be set with the criteria basis, and after how many days this has to be archived based on the criteria given, and after how many days it can be purged. Just to know, we have 18,000 as the maximum limit that can be given here in the archive after days and purge after days. Okay. Also, there is an schedule process that needs to be taken care here with the name of archive document of record, which will archive and purge the document of records accordingly. Moving to the next feature, it speaks about moving the deleted document of records to an archive table. If there are any documents that have been deleted, so instead of they being directly deleted, now they are available in the archive table and can be retained. The data can be retained and we can create a new document of records if required with that data. The configuration point remains same for the delete and document record, delete document records also. Now, the other feature is configurable business title switcher in my team. So as you can see in the screenshot here, we have now business title available in the my team also. So when a manager performs their transactions on direct reportees, so they can be sure on which assignment they are performing. If it happens that there are multiple assignments there on employees, and this can be opted in using the by enabling the profile option value. This is the profile option that can be that has to be set to Y to utilize this feature. Then the other feature is securing journeys category selection when creating a journey. This is a good feature, I can say, wherein users will be able to restrict the type of journey category that can be created by certain set of users. And this requires both opting in and a configuration as well. Opting in is just enabling your journeys. If it is already there, then that is not required. Then configuring is like when you create a journey category, then you can specify which role can access, which role can create what kind of journey categories. Okay. So if you can see as an example of the screenshots, you see as a line manager role, line manager will get access only to the compensation category of the journeys to be created, while a HR has the access of all the set of all the category types. Okay, while creating a journeys templates. And the other feature speaks about the template-based security for journeys. Like a security can be set on a template level for journeys, which lets the users to restrict the users whether to sorry whether to assign a journey to to other employees, or if they can view a journey at least, or whatever the control they can do based on this. There are four checkboxes that are available on the configuration page, which gives the access for configuring the journey checkbox, for a journey template, and to explore a checkbox, which allows the user to view the journey, and assign to self. If a person wants to assign the journey to himself, then it can be done if this checkbox is allowed. If this checkbox is ticked in the configuration for that template, and assigning the journeys to others. So if we can look at the screenshots of this here, as a line manager, a HR specialist has multiple options. Like he can assign the journey and take actions, add it to himself. And while the line manager only has the access to assign the journey to others, and he cannot assign it to himself. This is how a security can be configured for template-based security, for journeys. And moving to the next feature, we have an advanced journey task type using combination of different task types. This is a very good feature, I can say, wherein it will allow, your organization can utilize this feature to minimize your number of tasks on the journeys, wherein you can create a journey of an advanced task type as an advanced, and you can include multiple tasks in one single advanced task type. And the maximum number of tasks that you can uh, include here is 3. Like if you take an example of the configuration, when you configure a task type with an advanced and include 3 different tasks of viewing a video, and adding a questionnaire and an e-signature, then it would come into one single task as shown here. And talking about the other feature, the new feature that has come, we have surveys also in our journeys now. The category of this journey should be selected as a survey when we create a journey, and it needs a configuration. A new journey has to be configured for the survey type with the questionnaire that has to be already created well before you create a journey, either with the questionnaire subscriber as a journey surveys or touchpads. And also it can be scheduled to allocate to the employees based on the frequency of day or a week or a calendar month. That way it can be configured from the schedule allocation in the journeys. And also we have an option to give a message to the users as a title and a subtitle and a thank you note if required at the completion message, as shown here in the presentation. Like you can give it here a title as share your experience, and a subtitle as feedback survey, and a completion note as thank you for your valuable feedback. This feature provides an end-to-end survey mechanism that enables you to not just create and send surveys, but also analyze and report on the survey results. Okay, moving to the next feature. Now we have guided journeys for compensation flows as well. As we know, in the continuation of global journeys to address complex HCM flows, feature introduced in 22B. Now we can configure the guided journeys for my compensation information, and the salary history as well. Okay. And coming to the contextual journey, this is also an enhancement that is still in coming from the 22B, but we have it on few other actions as well, like my compensation, change salary, compensation information. They listed actions here. Okay. Moving ahead, now we have a new feature. This is also a very good feature, I can say, where we can configure the default effective start date for workforce structure objects. For the following listed actions here, for the like requesting a new position or a position details, job details. What happens when we usually create a workforce structure object? But by default, the date, the current system date will be taken as effective date. Instead, if you want to give a proper fixed date for these workforce structure objects when created, that can be handled and controlled. So this is the configuration point. In the workforce structure configuration of Manage Enterprise HCM information page, we can set the default effective start date. And this requires the configuration at this point, and it can be used easily. So moving to the next feature of the position management, profile option to restrict the number of valid grades is a new feature that has come in, wherein you can control the number of valid grades that you assign to a position. Usually there was no limit earlier. Now we have a feature to restrict that to maximum 5, and even you can mention it as 1. And this feature can be used to maintain a 1:1 relationship between position and grade. Okay, and when you give 0 against this profile option, then it does mean that there you can give multiple grades, and if it is 1 or 2, then it will restrict accordingly. Moving ahead with the next feature, now we have a rest and opt-ins, where we need quite a bit configuration and also a testing for these features to be utilized. So we have an autocomplete support for defaulting effective date also in when and why section. Usually we see this section when we perform transactions, workflow transactions like when and why, and there would be an effective date. Even that date can be controlled using the autocomplete rules. You can configure the rule as per the need that business has. So usually to enable this, we need to raise an SR with the Oracle to enable autocomplete rules. Once that is there, then you can configure it using HM Design Studio. And coming to the next feature, now we have workforce structures codes also added to the employment information page. This is also a good feature. Earlier, when we when we are looking for a grade code or a department code title or a job code of the workforce structures where the employee is there. So we had to go to a different page, navigate to a different page, and then check for the code of the workforce structure that employee has. Instead of that, now we can enable the employment all these in the employment information page only. So this needs a little bit configuration and needs to be checked before releasing it. It can be enabled using HM Experience Design Studio for the employment information section. Okay. Now, moving ahead with the next feature, we also have a contextual job information added to the same employment information page, wherein you can view the job information of the employee right in the employment information page only. This also needs to be configured using hex sandbox, and that needs to be enabled. Like, let's say if you want to see a job level of the employee or a job family of the employee working with, then you can directly navigate to employment information and check on the employment information page only. Now, moving ahead with the next feature, these are the HCM common features in the 22D release. So we have a synchronized worker data from position when using the worker REST API. Usually this will help in the integration part. So we can have a seamless integration using the worker REST APIs, wherein the assignment data of the employees can be brought in using the worker REST API. Now, it improves the performance of the transaction processing and querying transactions data in the application. So there is we need not do any configurations or we need not do any opt-ins for it. This is by default available and can be utilized. moving to the next, we have a new feature on workforce structure. It is preventing in-flight job transactions updates when using HCM database. So this feature talks about when a job has been updated from the front end, from the jobs page, okay, from workforce structures and jobs. And by using HDL, if there is any update that you do for the same job, usually what happens now, it gets updated, and we are nowhere uh, aware of the changes that are happening. So there is a profile option that needs to be configured, and once that is done, system will automatically move such records into errors, and it can be handled easily. Like when a job transaction that is already is in workflow, and if there are any updates that is happening on that job, then it can be restricted. So what happens is when you upload the data using HDL, it gives you an error this way. Like load status will go into error because the approvals are in pending. Okay. And you can click the message and see the details, like what exactly is the error that has come. Usually it comes as it can be processed because there is a pending transaction for the object. And the other feature is preventing an inflight on location transactions also. This speaks about the object of location. If there are any changes that are done by the users on a location, and if the same location is being, if they're trying to update it using HDL, then also a error is thrown the same way as we have seen for the job. So this is the screenshots. These are screenshots for the HDL that have been uploaded for the same transaction that was done from the front end. And preventing the in-flight department transactions. So usually if a department is also changed from the front end, there is some data that has been changed on the department. If there is any update, then or if the department is deleted and the user is trying to update the same department using a HDL, then also a error is thrown. Okay, and the configuration point for all these three in-flight transactions are we need to enable, we need to create a profile option code with so and so with this one HR disable pending approvals check in HCM data loader, and we need to set it to no. And by creating and setting it to no, then you'll be able to stop the transaction from updating by using HDL. So these were the updates. Now I would like to hand it over to Hardik. Thank you for patiently listening to me all this time. Yes, Hardik, over to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Balu, for the wonderful insights. Before we quickly move to Q&A, I would like to do one poll, and where would like to note down your area of interest, whether it's technology innovation or managed services or value-based analytics or Glide 4.0 on the screen. If you can please help. If you need any of the information on any of these, you can also reach out to the dedicated support managers or the service manager for your respective account from the Mastek side. Thank you so much, and we'll be closing the poll, and then we'll begin for today's Q&A session. See if there's any question do we have. We'll be closing the poll now. Thank you so much. Now we have panelists available. Can you check, Sridhar, if you have any questions for you or in the chat or question panel, please? No questions at all? Okay, if you do.
No questions, nothing, yeah.
Okay, so if you do have any questions, please reach out to the support manager or service manager. If you need any specific session or anything, please do let us know. We'll be more than happy to connect with you over a one-to-one call as well. And just before you all leave us, we'd like to note down on today's feedback that how we did today. And please rate the overall experience in today's session on a scale of 1 to 5. there's always a chance to improve, so we can do that. Thank you so much. We'll be with that. We'd also like to keep you posted that in 2 or 3 days time max, we'll be in a couple of days time. We'll be sending you the presentation PDF along with the recording of this session. Sorry, I'll just close the voting. Thank you. We don't have any questions there. So we'll be sending you a presentation PDF along with the recording. We'll be also making sure that we send you test scripts in the HCM sessions. And those content will be available to you with a single click through your email only. Yeah. And just one more second. Yeah, and we have upcoming sessions which you can see on the screen at the moment. Talent management will begin in sometime. Benefits and compensation on 6th. HR and help desk, sorry, will begin sometime. Talent and benefits on 6th. Supply chain 11th. Finance. So any of your colleagues you would like to pass the message and be part of it, would be great help. So thank you once again, everyone. And just with the last poll, if you can tell us that, have you attended any of the previous advisory sessions, please? And then we can close today's session. Thank you so much. We'll be closing the poll. Yep, as we've discussed all the existing upcoming sessions. Thank you very much, everyone, for your precious time. Thank you once again, and we'll be closing on today's session. Thank you.